The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from California is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When I call this a deeply unserious bill, I think I'm probably being charitable. It is unserious, and it comes from a Republican majority that is either unable or unwilling to do the real work of Congress. In the first disastrous 100 days of President Trump's second term in office, we have seen him sow chaos and distraction in every direction. This deeply corrupt and unhinged leader has put his biggest campaign donor and the wealthiest man in the world in charge of slashing programs that millions of Americans depend on, from food assistance to nuclear safety to disaster response, all in the name of quote-unquote efficiency. They have indiscriminately fired thousands of federal workers like this is some dystopian reboot of The Apprentice, except in this episode, they're filling the government with unqualified sycophants, and they're running around firing meteorologists and health experts and emergency responders, people who keep our government running. And today, in the face of all of that, all of this chaos that our Republican colleagues don't want to talk about, at least we're hearing them engage in some debate over this unserious bill about renaming the Gulf of Mexico, which I suppose is an improvement, because for the past couple of weeks in the markup hearings on their disastrous budget reconciliation bill, they've been unwilling to debate it all. It's just been silence from our Republicans as they move through one of the most reckless bills in American history, the same silence as they duck their constituents by canceling town halls and avoiding media inquiries. So instead of debating that very important and destructive legislation, they are speaking up today about this deeply unserious bill to rename a body of water. We wish that our Republican colleagues would join us in asking the question that's on more and more Americans' mind. What the heck is going on? This administration is not draining the swamp. They're torching the country. The global economy is in chaos. We are teetering on the brink of recession. Administration officials are telling us we should perhaps prepare to ration dolls and toys this Christmas, and yet they want to debate renaming the Gulf of Mexico. You know, Congress that more and more appears to just be a joke is now advancing a bill that literally started off as a joke. That's right. The first person to publicly suggest the name change was not Donald Trump or the author of this bill. It was comedian Stephen Colbert on Comedy Central. It was a joke back when the Deepwater Horizon oil spill was happening. And you remember, folks, that 11 people died in that disaster. Entire ecosystems collapsed. The Louisiana coast was wrecked, along with industries and livelihoods that depend on that Gulf Coast ecosystem, all devastated. And Colbert used the fake name Gulf of America to satirize the absurdity of oil-soaked nationalism. And now here we are, 15 years later, in a Congress that apparently thinks they have no real work to do, turning a late-night punchline into the legislative business of the United States House. Look, I would love to say this is just a one-off, but it fits a disturbing trend. Again and again, this majority keeps replacing science with slogans, governance with grievance, and policymaking with cheap performance art. The truth is, this bill won't fix a single problem. It does absolutely nothing to help the Gulf Coast. It won't create a single job. It's not going to fix our climate crisis. It's just dumb. The only thing this bill will do is waste time and your taxpayer dollars to stroke the ego of a guy who sharpied a hurricane map on live TV. Now, in committee, I offered an amendment that would actually advance the value of efficiency. Because, you know, if this is all about stroking the ego of one man, if it's all about cultish sycophancy, Why do it in a piecemeal way with all these individual bills to put his face on Mount Rushmore and on the $100 bill? We actually have legislation from folks across the aisle to do all these things, to rename Dulles Airport, to do national holidays. Why not go all the way? We know that's where this is all heading anyway, since everything is in service of one man's fragile ego. So why not rename the entire planet Trump? At least that would be efficient. We would hurry up and get to the inevitable outcome of where this Republican Congress is taking us. But look, if you like this unserious bill, there's another deal for you, because Eric and Don Jr. are selling Gulf of America hats on their website for $50 a pop. One hat even says Gulf of America, yet another Trump development. And the sales pitch for one includes, and I quote, "as seen on President Donald J. Trump." And get your meme coin while you're at it. And remember, all of these grifts are for a limited time. They won't last much longer. The American people deserve much, much better, folks. A recent Fox News poll, yes, Fox, showed that a big majority opposes the name change for the Gulf of Mexico. 67%. Americans know a joke when they see one, even if this Republican Congress doesn't. I reserve the balance of my time.
Reserves. Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities toward the president. The gentleman from Arkansas.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 3 minutes to the gentlewoman from Georgia, the lead sponsor